Welcome to the Explainer. Hey, if you're getting ready for that real estate exam, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to tear into the rules and disciplinary stuff you absolutely have to know. Look, this isn't just about passing a test. It's about protecting your entire career before it even starts. So let's get right to it.
All right, let's kick things off with a real-world situation. Forget the textbook for a second. We're talking about what happens when things go wrong. I mean, really wrong, and how you protect that license you're working so hard to get.
So just imagine this. The deal is done. You closed it. Everyone seems happy. But then the buyer finds out their earnest money deposit, that big chunk of change they put down, well, it got mishandled badly. And now they feel cheated.
And that one angry client, they file a complaint with the state. Now, this single action, this one piece of paper, it kickstarts a whole legal process that can put an agent's entire career in jeopardy. And that's exactly what we're about to break down. So, what happens after that complaint is officially filed? You need to know this process inside and out for your exam. Seriously, they love to ask about it. Let's walk through it. Here it is, the whole roadmap. These 6 steps are everything. A complaint is filed, it gets investigated, a panel decides if there's probable cause, and if so, things get formal. Then there's a hearing, and finally, a final order. You've got to memorize these 6 steps, and you've got to know them in order. Okay, exam alert. Let's zoom in on that probable cause panel. This is a classic test question, so lock this in. It's made up of 2 FREC members, with at least one being a current member. Now, their job is not to decide if someone is guilty or innocent. No way. Their only job is to look at the evidence and ask, is there enough here to even move forward? That's it. It's not the final verdict.
Now, the exam is going to use some very precise legal terms to try and trip you up. So let's translate the most important ones into plain English you can actually remember.
First up is a citation. The best way to think about this is like a parking ticket. It's for a pretty minor first-time mistake. There's a set fine, and the agent can either just pay it and move on, or they can choose to fight it. Now we're getting a little more serious. Misrepresentation. This is when you say something false or leave out something important. And here's the key. It can be a total accident. You might not have known the information was wrong, but it's still a violation. Fraud, on the other hand, takes it to a whole new level. This is not a mistake. Fraud is deliberate, intentional deception. You knew the truth, and you chose to lie or hide it to get something you wanted. It's a huge deal. And here we go, another big exam alert. This slide right here brilliantly illustrates the most important distinction you'll need for the exam, the difference between misrepresentation and fraud. It all comes down to one single, powerful word: intent. Misrepresentation is, oops, I didn't know. Fraud is, I knew and I didn't care. Got it?
Then you've got something called culpable negligence. This is about being so reckless or careless that you put other people at risk, even if you didn't mean to. It's way more serious than just a simple oopsie or a clerical error. It's a pattern of carelessness that has consequences.
Okay, now that we've got the definitions down, let's see how you'd actually apply them. Because you know that state exam just loves to test you on the subtle little differences between these violations.
So here's a classic scenario you might see. An agent knows, they know for a fact, that the seller did a quick patch job on a huge foundation crack, but they don't say a word to the buyer. So what's the violation here?
So here's the crucial point, and it's a common exam trap. The answer is concealment. Why? Because misrepresentation is when you make a false statement. Here, the agent didn't say anything false. They just said nothing at all. They actively hid the information they knew they should have shared. That is concealment.
Okay, so what if a consumer actually loses money? Let's say they win a big judgment against a licensee, but they can't collect because the agent has no money. Well, there's actually a safety net for that. It's called the Real Estate Recovery Fund.
Exam alert! You gotta know this number. The absolute maximum amount the recovery fund will ever pay out for a single transaction is $50,000. Not a penny more. $50,000. And here's the other magic number. Exam alert. The total or aggregate amount the fund will ever pay out for claims against one single real estate licensee over their entire career is $150,000. That's the lifetime cap for that one agent. Now here's the really critical consequence for the agent. This is not free money. The second the fund pays out on their behalf, bam,
their license is automatically suspended. And it stays suspended until they pay back every single dollar to the fund, plus interest. All right, let's lock it all in. We've gone through a lot. If you only remember 3 things from all this for your exam, make it these 3.
Here they are, your 3 must-know points to crush this part of the test.
First, you have got to know that 6-step complaint process forwards and backwards. Intake, investigation, probable cause, formal complaint, hearing, final order. Know the sequence. Second, remember that one magic word that separates a simple mistake from a serious crime: intent. That is the critical difference between misrepresentation and fraud. Intent. And third, commit those recovery fund numbers to memory. $50,000 per transaction, $150,000 total per agent. These are easy points on the exam, so just memorize them. So there you go. You are now equipped to ace this part of the exam. But honestly, the real work starts now. And that's about building a career with so much integrity and trustworthiness that you never even have to think about this stuff again. Good luck.